4 years down the drain. My girlfriend, Sabrina, walked out of my life for a guy her family had practically groomed for her. Now, 2 years later, she's sitting there unraveling, watching me rise, thriving in business, wrapped up in real love, the kind that was actually meant for me. What's up, Reddit? Jalen here. Sabrina and I had been together for 4 solid years before she dumped me for someone she thought was better. Scratch that, someone her family deemed better. His name? Grant Whitmore. Ivy League pedigree, law student, trust fund loaded, teeth straight out of a toothpaste commercial, and a LinkedIn that read like he was running for office. Me? I was just Malik Carter, grinding day and night trying to turn an idea into something real. Fast forward 2 years, and now she's falling apart, not because her life crashed and burned, but because she saw me, genuinely happy, successful, in love with someone who actually sees me for who I am. A real soulmate, version 2.0. But let's backtrack a bit. It all started unraveling at her cousin's engagement party. That was the first time I really saw it. I wasn't the guy in Sabrina's forever story. Her family had always treated me like a temporary blip, something she'd grow out of. That night made it obvious. The quiet digs, the sideways compliments, and then Derek, telling dry legal jokes while Sabrina laughed like she was watching some comedy special. She leaned in close, all wide-eyed, asking about his plans, his internships, his future in corporate law. She'd never shown that kind of interest in my startup. Never asked about my all-nighters building out prototypes or the risks I was taking just to keep the dream alive. Back at my place that night, I felt the shift. She griped about the broken elevator, it had been out for months, and rolled her eyes at the tiny bathroom. Then she made a face when my dog, Moose, jumped on the bed like he always had. She used to call Moose family. Now he was just a furry inconvenience messing up her designer skirt. A week later, she hit me with the talk. Walked in straight from work, still in that sleek business outfit from the marketing job her dad's buddy handed her, no interview required. She sat at that old IKEA table we built together over boxed wine and cheesy jokes, and she hit me with it. I love you, Jalen, but I need stability. Her voice was soft, like she'd been rehearsing in front of a mirror for days. I saw it in her eyes. What she really meant was, I can't keep waiting for you to become someone else. So I asked, You mean someone like Derek? She didn't blink. Just nodded while staring down at the luxury watch her parents had given her for her birthday. She mumbled something about needing a future she could depend on. Something safe. Solid. I could have begged. Could have made some heartfelt speech. But I didn't. Something inside me just broke. All I said was, All right. She looked shocked. Maybe even let down, like she'd expected a full-on meltdown. That's it? She asked. And I said, What do you want me to say, Sabrina? That this is killing me? That you're making a huge mistake? That your family's messed up values are steering your whole life? Would it even matter? She didn't answer, because we both already knew. 2 days later, she hard-launched her new man. Matching beach outfits, brunch pics, his hand on her waist. Her caption? Found my forever. Meanwhile, I was still sleeping in the bed we used to share, still buying her favorite cereal out of habit, still finding strands of her hair in the shower drain. And no, I didn't suddenly wake up rich and successful the next day. This wasn't some fairy tale. This was life. Reality. A month later, my startup crashed and burned after a demo flopped in front of a room full of stone-faced investors. My lease expired. I was broke. Ended up crashing at my best friend Devin's place. He's been solid since college. He handed me the key to his tiny guest room and gave up half his closet without a second thought. Moose came with me, no questions asked. I started hustling, Uber Eats during the day, stocking shelves at night, barely keeping my head above water. And the whole time, I watched Sabrina and Derek living it up on Instagram. Their life looked like a travel brochure. Yeah, I should have blocked her. But heartbreak does weird things to your brain. My lowest point? Pulling up to deliver food to some fancy bistro and spotting them, Sabrina and Derek, dressed like catalog models, sipping cocktails like they owned the place. She had a new haircut. Sleek, expensive. He was wearing a Rolex that probably cost more than everything I owned combined. Our eyes met. Just for a second. I thought I saw something there, guilt, maybe even regret. But it vanished. Replaced by that practiced, polite smile you give to someone bagging your groceries. That broke me. That night, I wiped every social app off my phone. I looked at myself in Devon's cracked bathroom mirror and made a promise: no more feeling sorry for myself. No more living like I was just a side note in somebody else's perfect story. I rebuilt. I worked 2 jobs, got maybe 4 hours of sleep a night, and poured every extra second into something new. A fresh start. From the ground up. No gimmicks. No smooth-talking investors. Just hard results. I launched a new startup, this time, focused on AI-driven legal tech. Not the flashy kind. The practical kind. Software that could streamline contract analysis for law firms. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. I knew the problem because I'd lived it. Devon? He was my rock. Brought me takeout when I skipped meals. Introduced me to folks who could actually help. Helped lock down our first major client. 2 whole years. That's how long I disappeared. Didn't check Sabrina's pages. Didn't ask about Derek. Didn't care. Because while she was busy playing housewife, I was quietly building a damn empire. My software got a write-up in a legal tech journal, and suddenly, the clients came running. I wasn't chasing money anymore, it was hunting me down. We scaled fast. London. Singapore. Silicon Valley. Now here's the kicker, the real twist in the story. The company I built? It ended up automating the very kind of grunt work Derek had staked his whole career on. Our software was replacing junior associates, including the ones at his firm. We were direct competitors, and the best part? He had no clue I was the one behind it. But Sabrina? She knew. I saw her again at a tech gala in Manhattan. I was there to pick up an award. She showed up on Derek's arm, looking bored out of her mind. Her face lit up when she spotted me stepping on stage. We ran into each other later, by the open bar. She looked me up and down. Jalen. Wow. You look different. I tilted my head. Do I? She let out a nervous laugh. No, I mean, successful. I just smiled, cool as ever. Guess I found my forever too. Then I walked away. After that night, she faded to the background. I had too much going on to spare her another thought: international rollouts, a new Berlin office, a team that looked to me as their leader. But somehow, she kept popping up. Not in person, at least not yet. At first, it was in whispers. Mutual friends dropping her name. Random messages from people I hadn't heard from in years. Yo, is it true Jalen's company just replaced Monroe and Carter's entire junior division? Sabrina's been asking about you. Said she saw you on Bloomberg. Apparently Derek's firm had just lost 2 major clients, both now in our portfolio. His name, once tossed around with admiration, was fading out of conversations. Meanwhile, my company? We were everywhere. Quietly disrupting the entire way law firms did business. Efficient. Scalable. Unstoppable. Then came her email. Short. Simple. From her personal Gmail. Hey Jalen. I saw your interview on CNBC. Congratulations. Would love to catch up sometime. V. I stared at it for a good 5 minutes. Not because it hurt. Not because I missed her. Just curiosity. The kind you get when you find an old photo or a dusty notebook from another life. A week later I replied. Sure. Just opened a new coffee shop near the office. Saturday work for you? She replied instantly. Yes. We met at this modern little cafe my team loved. High ceilings, exposed brick, that curated playlist vibe. Funny thing? Sabrina once said places like that made her feel boxed in. But this time, she called it a vibe. She looked good. Still put together, still carrying herself with that familiar polish. But something had changed. She seemed thinner, worn out. Her smile didn't quite touch her eyes. "You look amazing," she said, reaching in for a hug. I didn't hug back. "Thanks. You too," I said, lying, mostly out of habit. We made small talk. How her family was doing. Asked about Moose. "He's great, by the way." She laughed. We talked about how wild life had been. Then came the sigh. "Jalen, I've been thinking about us a lot lately." I didn't say anything. Just let her speak. I didn't realize what I had back then. And seeing what you've done, who you've become, it made me wonder if maybe I got it wrong. Her eyes blinked fast, fighting the emotion. I recognized that look. Regret wearing vulnerability like a mask. "Derek and we're taking a break," she added, watching my face for any kind of reaction. "He's not who I thought he was." There it was. The real reason. "Sabrina," I said, taking my time. "Do you remember the day you left?" She nodded, silently. "I do too. Not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't." She looked puzzled. "You never once asked me what I wanted. You were already out the door before you sat down at that table." She swallowed hard. "I was scared, Jalen. Everyone around me said I needed something solid. And you? Back then, you were still trying to figure it all out." "Yeah," I said. "And now I've figured it out." I leaned back and let the silence hang for a beat. "The thing is, while you were chasing certainty, I was learning resilience. While you picked comfort, I chose growth. We both made our choices." She looked down, fiddling with a napkin in her lap. "Are you happy?" she whispered. I smiled, and it was real. Beyond happy. And I'm with someone now, someone who believed in me long before the money, long before the success. She stayed when there wasn't anything flashy to stick around for. That hit her. I could see it. She nodded slowly. Her eyes shimmered. I didn't expect to lose you forever. That landed differently. Because there was a time, back when I was staring at ceilings at 3 a.m., when I wished she'd say exactly that. But now, it didn't mean a thing. I paid for her coffee, gave her a simple nod, and walked out. No drama. No big send-off. No, maybe in another life. Because this was my life now. And it was better. It was real. And there was no space left in it for someone who needed me to make it. Before she could see my value. 6 months later, I was standing on stage in Lisbon at a global tech summit. Sabrina? Just a faint blur in the rearview. And Derek's firm? They ended up licensing our software anyway. Sent a boilerplate. "We regret to inform you." Notice to every junior associate they let go. My team? Flourishing. My partner? She celebrates me when I win and stands by me when I don't. And me? I'm not the guy who got lucky. I'm the guy who got left, and decided to rise anyway.